What's up? Welcome to another episode of the PowerUp podcast with your host Nathan Shields, aka Siren. Remember to check us out at www.powerupfighters.com. Subscribe to the RSS feed you find there and to this podcast in iTunes. I'd really appreciate it. Today, my guest is Jay Money from Chicago, and we certainly run the gamut of game topics. We go from Tekken to Smash Brothers Brawl to everything in between. And everything in between is really cool, including some information about how Jay Money has helped organize the Fight It Out series of tournaments, how he's helped with that, and some of his tournament organization experience, which is always a great thing to hear about from anyone. I also especially like the section we talked about HD Remix mentorship, and mentorship is obviously alive and well in all aspects of life, but it's kind of neat to... You think sometimes that fighting games are really sort of a go-at-it-yourself, lone wolf sort of thing, but you really do have not just your peers that can help you get better, but someone who is better than you, you'll have to admit it, and they're willing to help you and give you pointers, and it's something really cool to think about in a hobby that is generally thought of as more individualized. But I really hope you guys enjoy listening to Jay Money. I enjoyed talking with him very much, and I will go ahead and hand it over to him.
I'm Jay Money. I am a Chicago Street Fighter 4 player. Well, I'm not a Street Fighter 4 player. I shouldn't say that. I am a Chicago fighting gamer. I've been in the scene for a while, but I recently changed my name to Jay Money for reasons unknown. There's actually a little bit of a story behind it.
Tell us about it.
Well, for a long time, I had been going by just random names that I had, I guess, picked out of a hat almost. Whatever was the flavor of the week at the time for me.
Okay.
But then I went to Dark Kakashi's end of summer tournament last year, and I got to meet two really good... just in general game players named Billy and Ted. Funked and Cocaine are the tags,
okay.
And they're from Iowa.
Nice.
And they finally met me for the first time in person. Before we had just talked on the boards a lot, and they assumed that I was going to be white, and they were very surprised to see that I was African American descent.
Okay.
And then when I told them my real name was Kelvin, they told me that my name wasn't black enough. So they renamed me Jamal.
Okay.
And then after that, Jamal just led to being shortened to Jay, and they gave me the last name Money. So now my black name is Jay Money, or Jamal Money.
So where'd the money come from? Did you start winning a little bit of money matches here and there or something?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. All right, so we'll run down some of the general podcast outline that I always love to look at. Well, how'd you get your start in fighting games?
I got my start in fighting games, and I'll just give you the short version because the detailed version is on my page on your site.
On the Midwest Roundup, yep.
That's right, on the Midwest Roundup. I used to frequent a local Game Crazy, and I eventually ended up meeting one of the better Dead or Alive players in the state. Jimmy Ellis, also known as Just Onin. He's a character. But and he introduced me to some of the older Tekken players like Eldarion, Trey Phoenix, and I ended up meeting Six, and I went to a few tournaments over at Columbia College and things like that, and I really got into the scene like that. But then I ended up going to college, and at college, I really only played Smash Brothers and Halo. So
that's about right.
Yeah, and I ended up winning a lot of tournaments down in Peoria. Like
for what games?
Smash Brothers Melee, and then when it came out, Smash Brothers Brawl.
Okay.
Yeah. And I came in third at a DDR tournament. Everybody was bad. But yeah, that's kind of how I got my start.
So you basically started with Smash Brothers?
No, I really started with Tekken
Okay.
more so on a competitive level, and
Hmm.
then Smash Brothers was just what they were playing at school.
Okay. But Smash Brothers was like the first game. Did you do a lot of research, or have you ever checked out Smash boards and looked up strategies or anything like that?
Yeah, but I was a member of Tekken Zaibatsu before I was a member of Smash Boards,
Okay, okay.
and I was a little bit more active in that community. Like I've never been active on Smash Boards, but my account says that I've been there since 2005.
Yeah, yeah. I made mine recently. Well, not recently, maybe like 6 months ago. And I don't really keep up with that community, as I only like so I can know what tournaments are happening for the game, because I still respect Smash Brothers overall. But we don't need to talk about Smash Brothers. That's not why we're here. But
But
so
he's
you're
not.
yeah. So it was Tekken 5.
Tekken Tag, Tekken 5,
Okay, okay.
something around there.
And you met some of the better Tekken players in your area.
Yeah.
Okay. Is Tekken still one of your favorites? You introduced yourself as a Street Fighter 4 player. Is that the game that you kind of identify with now?
Um, it's the game that, out of all the games that I've played over the years, that I've done the best at because before no one knew me. I wasn't a name that anyone could recognize. If you walked to somebody and said, "Oh, J Money," no one would have known me back then.
Okay.
But because of Street Fighter 4, I've actually garnered a name for myself in the community, and people actually sometimes respect me. Sometimes.
Sometimes. All right. Let's see here. Before we get into some of the Street Fighter 4 details, because I'd like to learn a little bit about the characters you play and some of your play style. Let's see here. I think on your list, you want to talk about your mentality and people you admire in the scene. Let's go with people you admire in the scene, and let's talk about Tekken.
Well, I don't really follow the Tekken scene as much as I used to.
Oh, okay.
But some of the players who I admire just in the Midwest is one of my favorite players to watch is Nappy Jin,
Mm.
and he's from Wisconsin, and he plays King, and I got to see him play, and I got to see him win the tournament that was down at ASIN, and he plays a really good King, and King is my actually one of my favorite characters. It's the character that I started learning first. Um,
So how about in Street Fighter 4?
in Street Fighter 4, there's quite a number of players who I really admire and look up to in the scene. First and foremost is Humbag.
Mm.
Humbag is really the reason why I switched from Ryu to Boxer at a very early point
Oh
in my
no,
Street
another
Fighter.
boxer player?
Yeah.
Oh no, you're stealing my
Yep.
thunder.
Oh, well, everybody else is stealing mine, so.
Yeah, tell me about it. I started off with Guile, and then I very quickly switched to Viper, and then I'd been playing Viper for a long time, pretty much since the game came out, and just recently I decided, you know what, Viper, she is just too spazzy for me. I need somebody who can sit there, wait, and then explode on you, and that's Balrog, Boxer for sure.
That's definitely Balrog.
But yeah.
Um, another group of players I really admire is GLB and Mad Blueface and the people that hang around with them because they're all really good and they do really smart things. And I don't want to dick suck or dick ride or anything like that, but they're really good, and I really like watching those guys play and beast other people.
Cool. Very
Another
cool.
player I really like is well, he's my friend. It's Dan Jones 6
Mm.
because he's not good at the game, but he gives me a lot of advice that helps me out.
Like mind game advice?
Um, just general advice of things because he plays HDR and you've done a podcast with him. He's
Yeah.
6, and he like just uses his HDR knowledge to help me out a lot.
Okay.
There's been many a time when I've been in the last leg of a tournament, and he'll tell me just one or two sentences about my next opponent, and that'll give me more than enough information on them to be able to beat them concisely.
So is he just giving you information about their play style, not necessarily the game?
Yeah, more
Okay.
so their playstyle. He has a good eye for picking up things like that.
Okay. Now, are these usually people that he's played in HD Remix, or are these people that he's just been watching that like he could see somebody for the first time at a tournament playing Street Fighter 4, and then give you pointers on that person later in the tournament that work.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's been able to do that down at the Screens tournaments a few times.
nice, very cool. So, do you still play Tekken at all?
Um, I will go back into Tekken when we get Tekken 6 on console,
Mm-hmm.
but not at the moment. No.
No, it's all about the Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, Street Fighter
Okay,
4 was a big explosion in Chicago, and I'm still riding out that explosive wave.
nice. So you started out with Ryu. Why was that?
Um, I played a lot of Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Super Turbo at previous game tournaments, and just a lot with my friends. And I know Ryu's fundamentals, and I know his basic game, and I know the fireball traps in and out, you know. So
Okay.
I picked up Ryu, and I played a lot of Ryu. Like in the first 2 or 3 weeks that the game came out. But I had pretty much just I had seen Gootanks play Balrog, and I had heard that Gootanks had switched from Ryu to Balrog, so I decided to give it a try at the tournament that came up.
Okay.
And the first tournament that I played in was a Game Crazy sponsored tournament, and it was a $500 gift card tournament.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
yep,
How
and there
many
was no
people?
entry fee or anything. It was
How
just
many
come in.
people entered?
I believe there were 30 to 40 people because the store was packed.
Hmm.
Like you couldn't move. I ended up getting third at that tournament actually, and
Any door prize like a free T-shirt or something?
nah, it was
No.
just first place get a $500 gift card, and second place got a TE stick.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Geez, so you were that far,
yeah,
But you hadn't been playing the game that long at that point.
nope,
Of
not
course,
at all.
I guess nobody really had, but still, I mean, and that was your first tournament as boxer, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty good. Definitely. So, what have been some of your highlights beyond that?
I've won. I would say 3 Street Fighter 4 tournaments. I won 3 or 4 Smash Brothers tournaments, and this is all since last October, I would say.
Okay, which, excuse me, which tournaments were these at?
I won some Screens tournaments. I won the Street Fighter 4 tournament at the Soul Calibur regional. I won one Screens tournament.
What are the
Screens is
screens tournaments? Yeah, yeah, explain that
the
to me. I've never heard of it.
Screens tournaments are they're actually called the Clash of Brokenness tournaments.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and they're Smash Brother, Naruto, and Street Fighter tournaments
Mm-hmm.
all clumped together, and they're run by Dark Kakashi, who is one of the bigger TOs in our
Right,
area.
yeah, I've heard of the Clash of Brokenness. Why do you call it screens?
Because that's the venue,
Oh, okay.
and it's a lot easier on the mouth to say than Clash of Brokenness.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, cool. Now we're on the same page with
Yeah.
that. So what are I mean, the general level of competition must be pretty high at something like one of the screens tournaments.
Um, I wouldn't say that all of the best in the city come out to play,
Okay,
but some very good players come out to play every Clash of Brokenness.
okay. How often are those held? Like twice, once every 2 months?
Um, it was a 7 tournament series, and
Oh, okay.
excuse me.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a 7 tournament series spanning from January to July, and over the course of the series, depending on how you did in each tournament, you got ranking points, kind of like a Rambat,
Okay.
except that everyone got points.
Okay.
So it rewarded everyone for showing up instead of just you rewarding those who do well.
Mm.
And over the course of the 7 tournament series, I managed to take second in the overall point standings.
Very nice.
Yeah. Because almost every tournament I placed top 3.
That's really cool, man. I mean, you've definitely got a lot on me. I really love going 0-2 for some reason. I just love it to death. I can't get enough of it. But hopefully that'll change sometime soon. We'll see.
I don't think I've ever gone 0-2 in a game that I took very seriously. Like I always get lucky and get put up against somebody's girlfriend or something.
I don't know. Maybe with the switch to boxer, my fortunes will improve. We'll see. I definitely have gotten a little bit of execution learning from Viper, that's for sure. But I guess in the end, she just wasn't doing it for me, no matter how much I like her as a character. And really, I don't like Balrog Boxer as a character. I think that he's pretty annoying. But, he just fits my play style for some reason.
That's what you got to go with. Got to
Yeah,
go with who you can play, not who you like.
exactly. So, on that note, let's talk about your general play style.
Um, my general play style really differs from opponent to opponent.
Okay.
But normally I play a very, very annoying turtle style where I hold down back and don't do anything and wait until my opponent moves.
All right.
Unless I know that unless my opponent has a projectile or generally a similarly defensive mindset.
Okay. So you'll turtle against some of the more Shoto type of characters.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll turtle. You know how people say rush that shit down. I'll
Yeah.
turtle that shit down
Turtle it
all day.
down. Oh yeah.
Turtle it down.
I like it. Okay. So, do you have like a really tough matchup, or is there some player out there who always gives you trouble, no matter, even if they're playing a low tier character, they just got your number?
Um, I would say that one of my toughest matchups is Bison. Really,
Okay.
Bison and Chun's who turtle because the Bison come from a really good player that we have in the city, Cracker J. His Bison, I don't think I've ever beat his Bison, honestly.
Hmm.
And then there's Douglas, who wins, or rather won, the majority of the Clash of Brokenness tournaments, almost always having to beat me for second or third.
Hmm.
And I can beat his Sagat, I can beat his Rufus, I can beat his Seth, but I cannot beat his Bara. I mean, not his Bara, his Bison Dictator.
Hmm.
Yeah. In fact, one example at the March tournament, it was between me and him for in losers finals, I believe, and I played him, and it was 3 out of 5 basic rules. I beat his Sagat, then I beat his Rufus, and then he switched to Dictator and beat me 3 straight.
Wow. Well, what happened?
I just don't know what to do against Bison.
Is it a matter of he's rushing you down and you don't know what to do, or he's like counter turtling you and then counter hitting?
A lot of it is him just capitalizing on my aggressiveness because that matchup really depends on who can get the life lead first, I
Okay.
think. Because if I can get a life lead on him, then I can just turtle and he won't be able to do anything to me.
Okay.
But if he gets a life lead on me, then it becomes my job to be aggressive to get the life lead back.
Hmm.
And he just finds ways around my offense.
So have you ever taken any notes on him, trying to figure out? Have you always just has it always been like him beating you for first or second? You've never did you ever get totally destroyed and have to work your way up towards him?
Um, I've never had to work my way up towards him, but the Fight It Out series of tournaments, which are tournaments that I help run and that I am in charge of and
Oh,
things like that.
nice. We'll talk about that later, definitely.
Yeah. The second Fight It Out, I was knocked into losers first round by Meta, who plays a really good Sagat.
Hmm.
Um, and I had to play all the way up from first round losers all the way up to fourth place, which is what I got out of like 70 people.
Wow, very impressive.
Yeah. And I actually beat Douglas at Fight It Out, and it was my first victory over Douglas in tournament.
Hmm. Cool, cool. Well, let's talk about Fight It Out then.
The Fight It Out series is run by this company that is run by my friend Kevin Fair, and it's the company's called I Play Games, and we're really striving to bring a cheap tournament experience, a cheap entertainment experience to everyone in Chicago. We want to make it affordable and we want to make it fun. You know, that's
Cool.
why instead of all of the tournaments being pot tournaments where it's like you have to pay this money to get in and you have to pay all this extra money to play,
Mm-hmm.
like we group together 3 or 4 games, and when we include them in the venue fee,
Hmm.
and we just offer a flat prize. Like
Okay.
at almost all of our tournaments, the venue fee is anywhere between $10 to $14, and you get to play in Street Fighter 4 and Blaze Blue, and sometimes a mystery tournament or Smash Brothers or something like that, and that's all included in the venue fee. So you come in and you pay your venue fee, and now you're entered in 3 or 4 tournaments for nothing. You know,
What's been the general popularity of Fight It Out?
Fight It Out has grown very immensely over, and we've only had 3 Fight It Outs, but the first Fight It Out had between 40 to 50 people, and then the second Fight It Out exploded, and we had 90 something people. I believe we had 93 or 95 people.
Wow.
And at this past Fight It Out 3, we had over 100 people.
That's very cool, man. What about the general level of skill that shows up? Are you still attracting the higher level players even without sort of the 70-20-10 split that is kind of like the staple of most fighting game tournaments?
We get a lot of top player support, especially from one of the better players, well, the best player in the Midwest right now, Flo, Ari
Mm.
Winthrop.
Hmm.
He has made it out to Fight It Out too, and a lot of the better players have made it out to the past 2 Fight It Outs. So we both have the support of the masses and the support of the top players.
That's excellent. Very cool. Let's see here. What else can we have? What not to do when running tournaments? That's one of your talking points. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, there was an altercation at Fight It Out 3
Uh
that
oh.
was completely and totally my fault, and it was something that I should not have done. And I'm
Hmm.
not gonna go into it because I don't want to rehash all of the drama that happened.
Okay,
But I'm
fair
sure if
enough.
you go read the Fight It Out 3 results thread, any of you who are listening, you will understand what not to do in tournaments. But another thing that you do not want to do in tournaments is you want to do a lot of research on the venue first, because
Mm.
during our last tournament we had a lot of problems that were beyond our control. We had 2 power outages actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because we didn't know the voltage on the wall
Hmm.
that we were using, and so
Mm.
it caused us to have to relocate all of the systems and all of the TVs and things like that.
Was it just drawing too much power?
Yeah, it was drawing too much power.
Okay. Hey, you live and you learn, right? Now you know.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
I would never have thought of something like that. I would just figure power is power.
Yeah. Another thing that you don't want to do is you never want to um, run games like you never want to run like Street Fighter 4 doubles and then run Blaze Blue singles. If you're gonna run a game and you're gonna run additional tournaments for it, you always want to run all of that game first. Like run Street Fighter 4 doubles and then Street Fighter 4 singles, and then Street Fighter 4 low tier or whatever you're gonna do.
Is that to keep all the players there?
You lose so much time when you have to switch games every time you change tournaments.
That's true.
It's really just a killjoy.
Makes everybody lug in a different stick or different, even just changing the games out and resetting everything can take a good chunk of time.
Yep.
Lower
Yep.
the momentum of the event, and that's no good.
Exactly.
Cool. Good advice.
Yeah, and those are just some things that you should do as a tournament organizer to not mess up everybody's day.
Definitely. Let's see here. Well, would you like to talk a little bit Street Fighter 4 strategy?
I'm not really good at that game, but sure.
Well, we could just do strategy in general too, just for any kind of game. But one thing I like to talk about is finding out your philosophy on counterpicking.
I don't believe in it.
Okay,
I'm
very cool.
very Japanese on the subject. As it says on my Midwest Roundup page,
Mm-hmm.
I only main one character
Mm.
in every game that I play, or one team of characters, because when I learn a character, I like to learn all of their matchups and things like that.
Hmm.
And I will only counterpick if it's a game like Blaze Blue, where the matchups are so black and white, where you just can't win with a certain character.
Hmm. Would you counterpick then in something like Super Turbo?
No, I wouldn't counterpick in Super Turbo
Really, I've heard that
because
that's like the counterpick dream match.
because I know I know my matchups.
Okay.
I'd say pretty well in Super Turbo, and the only characters that really give me a problem in Super Turbo are projectile characters because
Hmm.
the inputs in that game are so tight. I
Mm.
sometimes have a little bit of trouble headbutting through projectiles,
Okay.
but other than that, like I know most of the matchups pretty well.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. That's my personal philosophy as well. Just stick with one character, both for economics of time and just so I don't know, you kind of become that character, you represent that character, which is kind of cool for me.
Yeah, that's actually how I kind of am for Balrog. A lot of people, a lot of my friends walk up to me, and when I go get when I withdraw money from an ATM, they be like, "Oh, look, he's getting his fight money."
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I may say that I hate Balrog, but it's a special. I have you ever seen the movie Spanglish?
No.
It's a movie with Adam Sandler, and it's like a romantic comedy drama thing, anyways. And when I first saw it, and I watched the whole thing through, and I saw the ending, it just angered me so badly that I immediately said to everyone that would listen, I hate Spanglish. It's my least favorite movie. And now I have Spanglish on like the top shelf of my movie bookcase. It's like one of my favorite movies because it elicits such strong emotions in me. So that's what I did when I switched to Balrog recently. I was just playing it in training mode. It's like, oh, look at that. That is so easy. Oh, look at you can jab 5 times. What? And I'm just like, guys, man. And I turned to my friend Aaron. I'm like, dude, this is like Spanglish. He's like, what? I'm like, I fucking hate Spanglish, but it's on the top shelf of my movies. It's one of my number one favorite movies. And he's like, dude, whatever. So
Yeah,
that's what I equated to.
Balrog has some really fun tricks and things that you can do, and he
Yeah.
has some really good gimmicks as well.
Yeah.
Like I've won a lot of matches through pure shenanigans.
Mm,
Like Turn Punch Ultra is one of my favorites,
nice.
where you'll do Turn Punch a few times during the match, and then your opponent will find out that Turn Punch is indeed unsafe if
Mm-hmm.
charged past like two or three.
Mm-hmm.
And then later in the match, when I have Ultra, I will purposely do a large numbered turn punch, like two, three, or four,
Mm-hmm.
and then right after it, I will do a Ultra, and they'll go to punish me for turn punching, and they will eat Ultra to the face.
Very nice. I'll have to remember that one. That sounds like something very embarrassing.
It is.
My only highlight with Balrog so far is I was playing my friend Aaron. Actually, he plays Abel. He's getting better. He's playing a pretty good Abel nowadays. But I had ultra'd him into the corner after he had vowed to get a perfect on me in this particular round, which I very successfully stopped him from doing. It wasn't looking too good for me there at the beginning, but Balrog's damage, man, saved my butt. So I EX'd headbutted him out of an EX tornado throw, actually. He whiffed it a few spaces away from me, and then linked the Ultra, no big deal. Put him in the corner, backed up, because for some reason I'm just not that good at the pressure game with Balrog yet, but he didn't block when I dash punched the straight, and I EX cancel, or focus attack, dash canceled, into 3 jabs, a crouching, what would it be, short, yep, and into headbutt, and it killed him. And it's on my YouTube page, and right when I do that, and you just see Balrog kind of like slide up, and then jab, 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 short, headbutt, and Aaron's just like, what?
Nice.
And I just, for the past couple days now, I'll load it up at least once and just replay that sound bite. It's like, what? because I just love it so much. So yeah, Balrog's cool.
That's actually why I stay on top of my game in Fighter so much. Is because not really to do well in the scene, but really just to embarrass my friends. Because I really just love beating up on my friends, and like they learn from it, and I learn from it, and so it just works really well all around.
Yeah, well, I never get too big of a head because most of the people I know who play Marvel can really play Marvel, and when I try, I die. So I got to
Well,
learn that game.
Marvel's the one game that I don't touch.
Yeah, for the
Marvel.
sake of your blood pressure.
Well, it's like they say, Marvel is crack, and
Yeah.
I don't need the addiction.
Understandable for sure. I don't know.
So by the end of this week, I will be picking up Marvel for PSN. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how addicted I'll be to that.
Uh-oh, we'll see. Well, it's still a little broken. Some glitches they need to fix, but we'll see about that. Now, I see on your, excuse me, I see on your, what do you call it, signature that you say you're giving up on CVS 2, Third Strike Marvel, Guilty Gear, and Super Turbo, and focusing on Street Fighter 4, King of Fighters 12, Blaze Blue, and Tekken 6.
Yeah,
Now,
that's kind of how I
some
feel.
people may be like, "Oh, look at that! It's a new school noob or something like that." You know, just picking up random SRK troll language. So, I mean, why would you put that in your signature?
Because that's just how I feel, and I feel like we should, at this point, as a community, not necessarily be going out with the old and in with the new,
Mm-hmm.
but these new games are the games that we're going to be playing for a long time. So I want to invest my time in something new instead of just trying to hold on to those memories of
Mm-hmm.
something old. And a lot of people have disagreed and be like, "Oh well, those games are going to be around forever." But CVS 2 is no longer at Evo.
Mm-hmm.
Third Strike is probably on its last leg.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel will probably be around forever because the community is just so hype.
Like crack. I mean, like crack. It
Yeah.
just won't go away.
Yep.
Okay.
Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is almost dead in Chicago. Like
Hmm.
I know 6 people that play it, and they only play it with each other. They don't play it in tournament.
Hmm.
ST may be around forever as well.
Yeah, it's
Because
it's already ingrained.
yeah, ST is really it's the basic fundamentals of everything that we do as fighting game players.
Hmm. Do you think original ST will stick around, or will HD Remix kind of supplant it?
I think that the high level community of original ST is very split on HDR
Hmm.
because a lot of people have said that they will play ST or that they will play or that they accept HDR, but they won't take it as seriously as they did ST.
Hmm.
And I wasn't very good when ST was around, so I don't really see the difference.
Hmm.
So,
To each their own.
yeah, to each
Those
their own.
people, I mean, they've grown up. They've basically laid the foundation for the entire scene playing Super Turbo.
Yeah.
And you can't expect them to really lay that down.
And
Some
plus,
of
a
them
lot
may.
of the games like SF4 and Blaze Blue are a lot more noob friendly, so it's much
Oh, yeah.
easier for me to get my friends into them.
That's true. Yeah, even my brother, who he hates Street Fighter 4, he says fighting games are too complicated. He loves Blaze Blue. He plays Tager.
That's
So
all you need.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he uses sometimes the right analog stick specials, and I really don't care. That's fine with me. But he actually took the initiative because the heavy or the C full circle grab that Tager does more damage than the right analog stick one that's mappable. So he actually took the initiative to try to learn the full circle motions with a pad so he could do more damage. So, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's well on his way to playing a good grappling character.
There you go. I know. It'd be pretty neat. But we'll see if he sticks with it when he goes back up to Ohio State this fall. I don't
I
know.
mean, Blaze Blue is even my girlfriend plays Blaze Blue actually,
Nice. Who's she
and
play?
some Arakune,
Oh, I love it.
and she beats me. She beat me like 6 times in a row the last time we played.
Who do you play in Blaze Blue?
Can't you tell by my avatar?
Ah, yes, Rachel Alucard. She is my girl too.
That's right, lovely Mary Poppins.
We're so alike, you and I.
Are you sure you're not my brother?
I don't know.
But yeah, I played Rachel, and I've actually done pretty good for myself in Blaze Blue. At the finale of the Clash of Broken tournament,
Mhm.
myself, Just Onan, and Stephen Thomas, aka Ice Kid from Florida,
Hmm.
we won the 3v3 tournament.
Cool.
Yeah, just barely squeaking by some damn good teams, I must say.
Now there are a few different ways that I've played in team tournaments. Did you guys do the Pokemon style where one person would go and then the next and then the next, or did you play like the most recent Arcade Legends tournament we had in Fairfield was a 2v2 Street Fighter 4 where the first and then the second players played each other, and it was kind of like whoever um, I don't know, it was almost like a little mini
Yeah,
single elimination tournament.
that's SBO style,
Oh, okay.
where it's like player A plays player A and player B plays player B.
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely did Winner Stays On, or as you said, Pokemon style. I
Pokemon
like that a
style.
lot better.
Okay, cool, cool. So did you? What position did you play?
I played Point,
Nice.
and I OCV'd 2 teams.
Oh, glorious, sir. I salute you for that one.
I didn't really do too much in the last two because I don't know what to do against Jin.
Hmm.
I think Jin Rachel is like 11 -1 in Jin's favor.
It's a hard match. I remember getting beat by some gens. You know, I have a trouble with Lychee, but we'll get to that later. So please continue.
Yeah. At the Fight It Out 3 Blaze Blue tournament, I placed 13th,
Hmm.
and I was knocked out by a Jin who was really good,
Hmm.
who was part 2. Yeah, that's what it was. I should remember that because there was so much drama about it. But yeah, there were 58 people in that tournament, and I placed 13th.
Nice.
So that was pretty good. I do okay for myself.
Sounds like it, man. It's very impressive. Well, to me, anyway, since I do so poorly in tournaments with 24 people, I get 24th. But I tie with everybody else who gets 24th, so that makes me feel
That's right. That's right. Tied.
Well.
You're not last. Everybody's last.
Right, exactly. I don't know. I'm hoping my fortunes will change now that I'm not so frustrated with Viper. At least in Street Fighter 4.
So what else do you play, Nathan?
What games?
Yeah.
I will play anything. I honestly will play anything. The games that I like to focus on, however, are definitely Street Fighter 4 and Blaze Blue. Those are the games that I've kind of latched on to the most. I enjoy King of Fighters 12, but I'm not seeing that it's going to get much of a community. I also enjoy Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. And when that comes to America, I will try to be one of the people who really gets that game going once it becomes much more easily available to people with Wii's. So that'll definitely be my pet project, I guess.
Yeah. Keats from Wisconsin or Green Bay or wherever he's from, he did that.
Hmm.
He really ran around the Midwest and championed that game everywhere he could.
Yeah.
And I really like it. I just don't have a Wii, so I can't practice it.
Right, yeah.
And like Josh Travis will tell you, like I've got some combos down. I just don't know how to play the game. Like I don't know how to keep pressure on people, and I don't know what are my most damaging options in certain situations, like I do with some other games.
Yeah, yeah. It's like Marvel Light, which I kind of enjoy.
Yeah, it's like Marvel Diet Light Zero.
Right. Yeah, I did a podcast with Josh, and he told me about the like every game tournaments that he likes to host, and that sounded pretty cool. And how he's really been trying to get Tatsunoko versus Capcom side tournaments at wherever he goes.
Yeah, we almost had a Tatsunoko versus Capcom at Fight It Out 3, but one of the best players in the Midwest, in my opinion, Karasa, came down from St. Louis. He came all the way up to Chicago for our tournament, and he kind of just scared everybody away.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah.
Oh well. But yeah, I'll play anything. I don't know. I started off pretty much with Smash Brothers, actually, Peach player. I'm still pretty decent at that game, and I'll go to tournaments when they become available, but I don't really seek them out that much anymore. But
Yeah.
because I kind of like have a differing philosophy about how that game should be, the rules at least. I really strongly believe that there should be not as many bans, especially not on items. I'm kind of with I think Keats had the All Brawl rule set, and I thought that was really cool. And once I read about that and started thinking more about banning in general and how games are supposed to be played and things like that, I'm kind of with I'm definitely with the group of people who would say all brawl is the way to go.
I I I can see both sides of it, but I I liken Smash Brothers to Street Fighter when I play it. And I think that it should be played more like, if it's going to take it on a competitive level, it should be played more like a actual fighting game.
Hmm.
And that's just how I feel about it. Like, I don't think that items or anything like that should come into play in a test of skill,
Mm.
you know? Because in a fighting game, it's really your mind and your execution against your opponent's mind and your opponent's execution. And I think that items add in a random factor that it takes away from the fun for me.
I can see that definitely.
Because a character with a short reach, like Pichu, could pick up a beam sword and then negate his weakness.
Right.
So now my character, like, I have to wait for an item to come so that I can negate his item.
Yeah, that definitely can happen. I understand. Then again, for me, it's like I think that most of the items I could see banning some items depending on what they are and what cheapness that they're maybe proven for them. But like items on low or maybe medium so that they don't spawn so often. But I also find that the items tend to balance the game, at least Brawl. People complain so much about Meta Knight and Snake and some of those characters, and that you can't play all the characters, and that's how it is in any fighting game, really. But I feel like the tier list would be really scrunched if they allowed some items. It would just balance out the characters.
Well, no, I think that the tier list would become more convoluted because then there would be character A with A item, character A with B item, and
Oh, I
character A
see.
with C item. Because that's how the tier list for CVS2 is.
Hmm.
It's like this character in this groove, then this character in this groove, then this character in this groove.
I could see that, yeah. Hmm. Ah, well. I still find that the Brawl community is just, I don't know, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth when they ban so many things, especially the stages. Not all the stages, but I
The Brawl
do.
community leaves a bad taste in my mouth in general. Because Brawl leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Hmm. More of a melee fan, are you?
Yeah,
Eh,
definitely. Even someone just wanting to play 64.
nice. Ah, well. No, I still respect Brawl, though. I respect definitely what the community's done from an organizational standpoint. I think they have the best organization of any community for
Yeah,
one
that's,
single
that's
game.
something that's very important to a community, and I wish that more um, SRK people were as for the community as Smash Brothers players. And
Yeah.
I know Webster is gonna salute me and champion everything that I say from here on out, but I know that. But like at Fight It Out 3, we were promised like, and I have it in the thread. We were promised like 13 PS3s,
Hmm.
and at the end of the day, we only had 5 or 6 PS3s out of the 13 that we were promised.
Yeah.
And it's just like for the community to fall through like that is such a travesty because our event could have run so much smoother if we would have had all of those extra PS3s.
Yeah.
Because
Did the people who promised still show up, but they were like, dude, I couldn't bring my PS3.
some of them showed up, but they didn't have component cables. And
Hmm.
we have some LCD TVs at our tournaments, but they're only for casuals because they lag.
Hmm.
And we wouldn't want to have that damper the experience of playing in a tournament.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so it's like we at IPG we bring like but anywhere between 8 to 11 TVs to our own events. So we do much more legwork than most TOs do, and it's just like we wish the community would just bring. All we're asking them is to show up and to bring a PS3.
Right.
All you need is a book bag. That's all it really takes.
Sounds
And
like you guys are doing some pretty good work. Do you have a website or anything?
We had just finished developing our website, and we're in the process of buying the domain now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but we all have real jobs and things that we do during the week.
Of course. Well, if you ever want that website to be put back on your Midwest Roundup page, just shoot me an email with it, and I'll make sure to add the link.
Yeah, and I'm gonna send you some more Chicago area players to get on.
Definitely, I would love that. Yeah, it kind of makes me embarrassed to see so many Ohio players on the Midwest Roundup, and I'm getting some good feedback from Indiana and Illinois, a little bit from Missouri actually with NKI and a couple other players, but for the most part, it's like 90% Ohio players on the Roundup. So I'd really love, for you to get some of those Chicago guys to send me some information.
Well, now that you got 5 Illinois players, I see that you added somebody new today. We're catching up.
Yeah,
it's not that bad.
Yeah, who did I think I added Humbag today actually.
Yeah, I think you may have.
He sent me some info over the weekend, and I just got around to it today. So you got 5. Indiana's got 2. Kentucky, which isn't technically Midwest, but close enough, has 1. Missouri's got a couple, and then Ohio has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And
we're about 45%. We'll catch up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll need to maybe get a hold of Webster and get some more Wisconsin love on the Midwest Roundup.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I try not to stress myself out too much about the list. I figure, it's a work in progress. It'll take years, and, I don't know, maybe these are all of the Midwest players. That would really suck.
But I really love being involved in the community so much, just as much as I love going to tournaments. Like, helping Dark Kakashi run the Clash of Brokenness series and running the Fight It Out series of tournaments has really been some of the most fun times that I've had.
That's cool.
In the entire Midwest scene since I joined it, because I've met so many more players being a tournament operator and running tournaments. Like you get that FaceTime with people because they come up and they check the brackets and they have small conversation with you, and some people just invite you out to their homes to play Street Fighter sometimes like that.
Nice.
And I've got to hang out with all the little groups, cliques, and crews all across the Chicagoland area. And I feel like I'm much more of a household name in the scene. Everybody's like, well, you're going to J Money tournament. J Money's running this tournament. J Money's doing that. Not to say that I'm a big shot or anything, but I think that I'm coming closer to my goal. And my goal has always been in fighting games to be known by everybody.
Nice.
Whether it's because of the tournaments that I throw, or how I play, or my victory dances when I win, or whatever it is. I just want everybody to know me,
Cool.
So that when I'm 40, I can look back on this as an accomplishment.
Nice. Very cool. Any chance that you'll be at the Naptown Clash?
Is that August 29th or something like that?
Yes.
I have to see who's going from Chicago because I don't have a car.
Oh, okay.
So, and I don't know if I'd be able to walk that far.
Nah, probably not. I mean, if you started now, maybe.
Yeah, I might get there in time. Matter of fact,
head out the door right now.
Yeah, but if someone I know is going and they don't mind taking me and they have a space in their car, I'll definitely go.
Cool. Yeah.
Because I'd love to go beat up on some Naptown guys.
Yeah,
Are you gonna be there?
Yeah, it'll be my first kind of bigger out-of-state tournament. I've been going to Arcade Legends for quite a while since it opened up, basically, and I'm looking forward to getting there and meeting Josh Travis, and I think he said he might be there with the Tatsunoko versus Capcom, and then a few other players that I've spoken to and kind of know and would love to meet in person. And then just it'll be a good opportunity to pass out some business cards and get people, I don't know, get some interviews scheduled. Or I'm gonna bring my camera, make sure to get some of my own matches and probably some player interviews videotaped, put them up on the PowerUp Fighters YouTube. It's currently empty, and I need to fill it up with some content.
Yeah, that's kind of how the I play games started out YouTube is. We really meant to record some matches at the last Fight It Out, but between all of the things that happened, we really just couldn't sit down and spare the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll if I don't go to Naptown Clash, I'll definitely be going to Seasons Beatings 4.
Oh, I will see you there, sir. I am so excited about Seasons Beatings 4.
Even though I didn't have the greatest time at Seasons Beatings 3.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I really didn't because the Soul Calibur tournament went for 14 hours.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I was still in it. And it was like there were 2 hours between my matches.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand why it was, but it was really just a downer for me.
Yeah, I've spoken with Galleon. I've done a few podcasts with him, too. I think one's up. Yeah, one with Vega, Super Turbo player. And, you know, that's one of the things that he and Fuji, talked about was how Soul Calibur did not run according to plan.
And then I really enjoyed the Justin IFC Yipes $1,000 money match. And I actually won a little bit of money betting on Justin.
Uh-oh. There you go. Props to Justin for that one.
So I can't say Justin's never done anything for me. But I really didn't like how every tournament had to stop because that money match was going on. Because I was still in Smash Brothers and I was still in Soul Calibur at the time, and it was really just like, oh my god, I have to wait more time for my matches.
I gotcha. I don't think they've announced the next Seasons Beatings 4's main event is going to be. I don't think they've announced that yet. Still got quite a while, though.
It should really be me versus everybody else.
Be you versus everybody else?
In Connect 4.
Oh, okay. Nice.
No one can stop me in Connect 4.
I feel the same way about Tetris Attack, actually.
Oh, all right. $20 money match, Tetris Attack.
All right, it's on. I'll bring the $20 in my Super Nintendo, no problem. I'll practice up.
No, all right. I won't practice, and I'll still beat you.
Oh, please. But now you got me scared. I don't know. $20. Tetris Attack?
I'll play you for 20. I don't play.
I would have to get that.
Attack.
I would have to record that shit, man.
Yeah, you got to.
Oh shit! All right, yeah, we're gonna do that. We have to do that.
Hype.
If you do come, that would be hype. I'm gonna write that down. It's like, remember to save $20 for that money match.
That's right. It's gonna be the best. It's gonna be the best thing that ever happened.
It'll be the main event in Naptown.
It will. The guys from Naptown are or at least the guys who come up from Naptown to come to the Fight It Out tournament they're actually really cool guys, like Barzad and his crew.
Mm-hmm.
They're really fun to hang around with, and they know how to have a good time.
Cool. I'm looking forward to meeting those guys then. Well, we have definitely chattered on for quite a while. We only got like 9 minutes left in the hour here.
Ouch.
I know. It goes by so fast. And it starts out slow, and then, gradually you start getting the talking points, and it just opens up. That's usually how it works out. But let's move on to your final list of things to talk about. How to think like a champ. I think that's something probably good to go out on. Let's talk about cheapness first.
One of the things that I talk about with my friends when we have this conversation is a lot of my friends seem to overuse the word cheap and unfair, and they have this thing where there are some sort of sandlot rules to playing games. And I don't know where people get these rules from or how they make them up, but there are no rules to the game other than those that the programmer programs in, and that it is my job to reduce your life bar to 0 in any means that I see fit. So there's no such thing as cheap, And like when players call me cheap, I just respond with, my skills aren't, even if my skills were on sale, they wouldn't be cheap,
Right, yeah.
Like,
that's something that my friends have They said sometimes they use the cheap word a lot, and I'm like, it's not really cheap. I mean, what do you mean by cheap?
Yeah. Like I just believe that there's no such thing as cheap or unfair or unsportsmanlike or dishonorable when you're trying to kill the other person. It's kill or be killed, just like
Hmm.
real life. Except no one really dies.
Which is the good part of fighting games.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was having an open mind
Hmm.
and being able to think past all of that noobish nonsense where it's just like, oh, do the same thing 6 times over and over again and spamming. And it's
Right.
it's it's really not. It's mentally conditioning my opponent.
Hmm.
If I do 6 dash low rushes in a row, you're going to block low the next time I rush at you. And
Most
then I'm going
likely.
to do an overhead,
Hmm.
you know. So I think a lot of newer players, the August 09ers, I would say, really need to step up their mind games in that respect.
Hmm. I agree.
And one of the easiest ways I think to level up is, and it's not even playing the game, but it's just to read up on the game. Like Shoryuken is such a great resource that everybody should use, you know. And it's like there are things that you personally can work on, like execution and combos and things like that.
Hmm.
But like you can always just go on Shoryuken and learn mind games and learn tech traps and learn frame advantage and things like that. And since those things are given to you on SRK, I really don't understand why more players don't use those type of things in their game.
It's a good question. I know I personally would definitely need to browse the forums more often because usually the stickies, I mean not every thread is going to be pure gold, but the stickies for the most part will always have some pretty good information in the main posts.
Yep, the things are solid gold in almost every thread,
Yeah.
especially in the boxer thread. If you go to the boxer thread is really well done. That's really well upkept.
Yeah, I'll probably be going that to that right after we get done actually.
And a lot of really good players posting it. It's not like some of the other threads where everybody can give their input, whether it's wrong or right.
Mm,
In the boxer threads, like it's usually mostly just really good players imparting really good advice onto the community.
cool.
And it's helped my game out so much because, like it says in my Midwest Roundup thing, I don't sit on the game in training mode in practice. Like I almost never do that
Hmm.
because it just doesn't. I don't feel like I'm getting better when I'm in training mode, but I feel like I'm getting better when I read the thread.
Hmm.
Like when I learn that I can punish Zangief's EX Green Hand with jab jab short headbutt, like that feels like I'm getting more powerful to me at
Right,
least.
right. That makes
Because
sense.
knowledge is power in Street Fighter. Like
Hmm.
the more you know, the more powerful you are.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I like it. Do you think that spills over to all fighting games?
I as long as there's a resource available with the breadth of information that SRK has, like then yeah, because any game that SRK has on it, it has a thread for it, and it's really good advice in that thread.
Nice.
And it may not be everything that you need to step your game up to be, Justin Wong level, but you'll definitely, just after reading a few paragraphs, you'll definitely feel an effect on your game the next time you play that matchup or next time you play that character.
Very cool. All right, let's see here. Theory Fighter. I guess that's
Uh,
kind of what we've been talking about,
yeah.
but is there anything else on your mind?
Um, I think that it's really important to talk to other players about things because a good example of that is in the Chicago thread recently. A player from Wisconsin asked a Viper question, and people who I didn't even know played Viper were jumping out and posting advice on how to do things and how to do that and that. So that's why it always helps to talk to other players about things because like you never know who will have advice or information for you. I don't only talk to Balrog players when I need advice. I talk to players who are good and have a good mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've gotten a lot of good advice from Knives, who is a Guilty Gear player who doesn't really play Street Fighter like that, but he's still able to give me advice on my Balrog because he's a good player and he has a good mentality towards things.
Nice. When you say mentality, what's mentality mean to you? I think that's what we'll go out on.
What a good mentality or what a mentality is to me is mentality is how you see things, how you react to things, and how you yourself do things within a game setting.
Okay.
Like like I would say my turtling, my not practicing, and things like that. Those are all small parts of my mentality as a gamer.
Hmm.
And those are things that encompass who I am as J Money.
Okay. Now, do you think that you have a good mentality?
Um, I think that my not practicing is probably hindering me from being as good as that I actually could be.
Mm-hmm.
Because there have been many a times in the tournament. Anybody who's seen me play in tournament can tell you this, that I've done like a combo headbutt into nothing. So my execution could definitely use some work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use any flashy combos. I don't use any rush uppers or anything like that when I play. So my game could stand to use a few hours in training mode to get some of the more advanced techniques down.
Mm-hmm.
But I win with what I have now, so I don't really see any reason to better myself
Okay.
too much in a game that is really just dirt easy to begin with.
There you go. Now, what about bad mentality? What do you think is a bad mentality?
I think a bad mentality is someone who cries foul or cheap or unfair or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. Someone who always blames their opponent or their controller or the system or the TV for their losing.
Mm-hmm.
Because lag affects both players. So if you're playing on a laggy TV, both players are affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to adapt your game to the lag and not complain about it and not bitch about it.
Right.
And that's a bad mentality to have, is that it's everybody else's fault except your own.
Do you think mentality can be changed?
Um, People do change, but not everyone changes.
Okay.
So some people, if you really work hard at it, you can change. But some people just don't want to change. Like they were that way before fighting games, and they're going to be that way after fighting games.
Hmm.
So it's something that they're that's just ingrained into them. And
Can people be kind of schizophrenic about their mentality and one day where they're, even if they lose, they're just taken and it's like, okay. And then they blame themselves, it's all right, I got to practice more. And then the next day, maybe for a different game or maybe for the same game, they just snap and start blaming everything. You think that things can happen sort of like that too?
there's a player like that in the Midwest. His name's Necrosis.
Okay.
And sometimes he's a really cool and chill kid, and when he's winning, he's laughing and having fun. But when he starts losing, it's everything's fault. It's the stupid stick. It's the stupid game. It's the stupid game engine. It's the stupid easy reversal inputs. It's the stupid, it's the stupid everything.
Mm.
And also Webster. Webster, he's not very schizophrenic with his mentality, but I think it turns on and off just at random.
Okay.
Because sometimes he'll be having fun winning, and sometimes he'll have fun losing. But one time he came down to Chicago for a little while, and we were playing CVS 2, and he was actually angry because he was winning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yep.
I've never heard of anybody being mad because they're winning.
He was mad because he was winning.
Wow. Huh. I'll have to ask him about that when I talk to him again.
It's a pretty funny story. I'm sure he'll remember it because I tease him about it all the time.
Nice. All right. But yeah, mentality, it's one of those rough things to try to sculpt within yourself. You got to really work at it and discipline yourself to keep it, I think.
Yeah, I believe in that too. I think that to keep a good mentality, you have to work hard at it all the time because there are so many things. Because out of all of the nerds, geeks, dorks, and nerd culture, I believe that gamers are the ficklest. Gamers, gamers are so picky about the things that they like
Mm-hmm.
and the things that they don't like. We stand up and in protest of almost because we will not play on laggy TVs. We will not play bad ports of games. We will not do all of this other stuff that in other communities is probably would probably be seen as petty, and we would probably all get flamed for it if it was somewhere else. But on SRK, the community just caters to us like that because we won't. Otherwise, we just won't go to your events.
Mm. Picky people, I guess.
Yep, we are very picky gamers. We are.
Picky or high standard? We have high standards. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, we have high standards. I think that that's better, and I probably won't get beaten up in the streets for that one. Because I know after people listen to this podcast, they're just gonna swarm my house and they're gonna beat me up.
Yeah, hopefully not. Well, Kelvin, J Money, it's been excellent talking with you. Really enjoyed it.
Talk to you later, Nathan.